All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry for the timeliness here or the lack of timeliness. All right. We're streaming on YouTube. So let's roll. David Rutt's here, David Allen Capital. We're talking payment processing today. I got some slides for you. If this is your first Pro Zoom, welcome. We're glad to have you part of the DAC family. We are really lighting things up on the funding side, and this is really setting the table for the payment processing. Last week, we talked about how to pivot, right? How to push through with funding and then pivot to payment processing if they don't need funding today, or once they're a client, right? Move through to payment processing. I've got some good stuff to cover with you today. I'm excited to share, so I want to get right at it um, so that you can have some success with, let me go into this share screen. Bear with me 1 minute. So that you can have a lot of success with your business, of course. So we got right here, life. This is a football. All right. Can you see that okay? Is the screen on right? Okay, beautiful. This is a football. What in the world is that? Of course, this is a football. Well, this is a famous quote from Vince Lombardi, one of the best football coaches of all times. And what he would talk about, he'd start each spring season. These are NFL athletes, but he'd start it every year. This is a football, and he'd start with the basics. And his belief was if we can master the basics, obviously we can explode our business. See, complexity kills momentum. Winning comes from consistent basics. All right. So today's focus is we're going to talk about your belief a little bit, how to reignite that, some fundamentals. We're going to add a few more power plays you can add to your playbook so that you can learn it and then do it. See, old processing is broken. The old payment processing way is broken. Most business owners have to absorb the fees. They shouldn't. They don't understand their monthly statement. They feel trapped with current processors. But we fix this. All right. We're going to show you how we fix it in a minute. Our core offer is dual pricing, of course. Simple, fair, legal in every state. You show the card price or both prices on your menu or price board, right? But then the customers get a 4% discount at checkout if they're paying cash. That's what dual pricing is all about. And the business owner, therefore, keeps more revenue, right? So these are some basics. Why merchants switch? Well, some emotional triggers. They're tired of getting crushed by card fees. Their processor never calls them back. They can never talk to their processor. They don't understand why the processor is charging all these fees. They want to grow, but they can't afford to grow. So we can solve all of these. So what sets us apart? Well, we're a profit multiplier. We're not just a processor, right? Processors perform a function. They've already got a processor. We come in and we multiply their profits, though. So we put real human support on it. We get real experts to help them, of course. You just submit the client, and then the internal team takes over from there. The experts with the processors, the experts with the POS systems, the hardware, and the experts with the quoting engines, they all take over. So you just have to form the relationship, right? And of course, we provide funding. Some of the processors we work with now are like, can we offer your funding? Because we don't have a source for funding. So, a couple questions. Again, these are basics, blocking and tackling. If you're brand new to this, hopefully you've watched the payment processing training already. If not, go watch that. Go pull those scripts down. It's got all the scripts, the process, how to overcome every objection. But here's a couple door openers. How much are you paying in monthly fees? That brings up a pain point, doesn't it? Right? They know that. It's probably their biggest payment. If they're doing any real sales, anyone who's ever accepted credit cards and did 50, 100, 200 grand a month in processing or more, you know that fee. It's like 5, 10 grand, 15, 20 grand. There's people who pay over 100 grand. They're paying a few percent of their sales. So do you absorb those fees or do you pass them on to your customers? What do you mean? That's a door opener, guys. I just want to see if you're overpaying. Simple conversation, big results though. So pro tip, one of the things you can do is pull out and use your phone. It's an engaging process and it creates instant credibility. You pull out your calculator. We all have one. If they don't know their fees, you can say, well, what are you doing in processing, would you say? You type it in. Right there, they're doing $30,000. So 30,000. Okay, you're doing 30,000. All right. Well, on average, you're probably going to pay 0.03 times that, about $900 in fees a month. What? If they don't already know it, that's 10 grand a year. So that's what we could save you each month, 900 a month. So on a smaller processor, 30,000, it doesn't seem that big, but hey, it's very large, as I'm going to show you in a minute, which is really the pro tips we want to get to, how it drives profit. But here's a little tip. It's called the objection flip. Okay. My customers won't like fees. First of all, I've heard that a handful of times, and every customer switch says nobody complains. But we don't charge fees. We actually give a discount for cash. That's an interesting one, right? I just heard this for the first time last week. And I'm like, I like that. It's an objection flip, right? I don't know that I'll be comfortable saying it, but wanted to show you. I like feel, felt, found because I am a business owner who takes credit cards. And I did feel the same way. I was concerned about the customers being upset. So I felt the exact same way you did. But what I found is we took the chance when we were going to save $3,000 a month. We decided to give it a whirl, and maybe we'd lose a customer or two. What we found is nobody complains. I think we've had 2 people since 2016 ask what it was. I mean, thousands of customers monthly, and nobody mentions it. So I know how you feel because I felt the same way, but what I found was boom. So instead, we're saving 30,000 a year and get no complaints. So my suggestion is you give it a try. We could always put you back to standard processing, but let's get those fees in your pocket rather than in the processors. Let's let the customers choose and use the card. Let them pay a little bit more. Now, one of the things you can do, that was just an example of feel, felt, found. Some of you are, I want to learn this stuff. One of the things you can do is go to Grok or go to chat. I'm going to open Grok real quick. This is Grok, which is X's, X used to be Twitter's AI. And I'm going to go into what they call Assistant. Okay. And I'm just going to talk to it. Hey, can we role play for a minute? Can you be a business owner who owns a restaurant? I want to talk to you about your payment processing. I didn't hit the microphone. Hey, can we role play a minute?
Absolutely, David. Let's dive into it. Tony, owner of Tony's Bistro, a cozy little Italian joint downtown. Been running this place for about 10 years, and let me tell you, it's a labor of love. So, you want to talk payment processing? What's on your mind? Are you pitching a new system or just curious about how we handle things here?
Yeah, I'm wondering what you're paying in processing fees right now. Oh, my mic's off. I muted it. It was on. Yeah, I'm just wondering if you're paying for the processing fee yourself, and if so, what you're paying per month.
Great, David. Good question. As Tony, owner of Tony's Bistro, I can tell you we do handle the payment processing fees ourselves. Comes with the territory. Right now, we're using a standard merchant service, and it's costing us about $800 a month, give or take. That covers all the credit card transactions, which is most of our business, since cash is pretty rare these days. The fees sting a bit, especially on busier months, but it's what keeps the lights on and the pasta cooking. You got a better deal in mind, or just sizing up the competition?
You know what? You're leading me along too easily and you're talking too long. I want you to get right to the point like you're a busy restaurant. You don't need to say, hey, David, just answer my question quickly, abruptly, just like a business owner would, because I want this to be a real role playing. Can we do that?
Got it, David. I'm Tony, Tony's Bistro. Processing fees, we pay him about $800 a month. What's your angle? Make it quick.
Well, isn't this awesome? Isn't this awesome that you can do this now? You don't have to call an upline leader who's already done it. Oh, she's listening to me.
Yo, David, I'm Tony, swamped at the bistro here. Yeah, role playing's cool, but what's this about upline leaders? You selling something or what? Spit it out, man. Kitchen's buzzing.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why you're still paying 800 in processing fees and why you haven't switched to dual pricing and put that money in your pocket as profit. Have you thought about that yet?
Tony here, David. $800 in fees? It's a pain, yeah. Dual pricing? Heard of it.
Getting a call. I got to decline the call. Anyway, you can see how you can role play. And if it's too easy, say, hey, be a little more rude with me. Be a little more abrupt. Practice. You can do this for free right here. I've done it with funding. I had a conversation with a bank manager the other day. They gave me some great feedback from a compliance standpoint, because I'm saying like, hey, tell me why you can't earn a commission. This is ridiculous. I want to pay you under the table. I mean, you can say whatever you want.
Bistro, right? Dual pricing.
Okay, listen,
Yeah.
Tony, dude, we're out. We're done. All right, don't talk to me anymore. I'll mute you out. You do have to turn it off, otherwise it'll keep listening. So role play, go in and role play. It'll get your conversation down, and don't just type it. Actually use the voice method. That's why I like Grok. It's pretty quick, and you can say things like be more rude, be this, be a little more direct, and it's intuitive. Quit calling me, hey David, this is Tony. Stop saying that. Just get right to the point. It'll fine tune it for you. So role play a little bit because it'll get your dialogue down. I've had more conversations with bank managers role playing than I have in real life. And so you should role play before you have real conversations, all right? Hidden gold, current clients. I can't wait to show you 2 slides from now, so stay with me. Current clients, hidden gold. You already got processing clients? Ask them about how they're funding their growth. Cross-selling opportunity, create your lifetime value of the customer, take it to the next level. You're earning $200 a month in payment processing, $2,400 a year. You can make that in one funding, right? You can make $8,000 in one funding, $7,000, et cetera. So make sure you're looking at the lifetime value of the customer, and you've already got them as a customer. So your cost of acquisition is down. You've already got the relationship. You don't have to call 10 strangers to find someone willing to talk to you, right? You've already got a client. Same thing. You already got a funding client. Even if they didn't take the offer, even if they were declined, they already have worked with you. It's a good time to reach out. Last week, we talked about how to pivot and press into payment processing. Go watch last Thursday's payment processing training if you did not see that yet. All right, hot markets to target now. Low margin markets, high volume, low margin. Why? Because the fees are killing them. Sometimes they only make 10% on a pack of gum and they're paying 3% in fees, right? So you're paying out a lot of your profit in fees. So high volume, high margin is lost to fees. High margins are lost to fee because they're paying high product costs, et cetera. Great savings opportunity for them. Low profit margins equals a massive impact. Let me show you why. Real impact. Let's say you got a business that's got a 5% profit margin after paying for the cost of the product, after paying for the staff, the food expenses, et cetera. They're only making 5%. In this example, let's say they're paying 2.5% in fees, payment processing fees. They're on standard processing. So 2,500 of their monthly expenses are to a payment processor, right? So in this case, their profit margin would only be 5%. That's, by the way, 6 out of 10 businesses are breaking even or losing money. They're not even making 5%. But let's just use 5%, which is kind of a norm in restaurants if you're doing well. So 5,000 profit margin, 5% of sales, right? That's what you're making a month on that 100,000. Good for you. You're making a profitable business. It's worth your time. Well, what if you go to dual pricing? That $2,500 in fees doesn't get paid anymore. Now their profit goes to $7,500 a month. From 5,000 to 7,500 is a 50% profit boost by going to dual pricing. I know how you feel. You might get a customer complaint once in a while. I felt the same way, and I was a little reluctant to switch over my ice cream shop to dual pricing. But what I found is people don't complain about it, and we actually doubled our profit because our profit margin was less than 3%. So by taking those 3% fees, not having to pay them anymore, our profit margin went from 2% to 5%. It was over 200%. Feel, felt, found. What did we find out? Big profit boost available. So let's look at a smaller profit. You only got a 2% profit margin. You're a bagel shop, a coffee shop. You're only making 2% of sales. You're doing 100,000 a month, but you're only making $2,000 after paying for everything. This is not uncommon. The average coffee shop in America makes $18,900. That's it. So if they're paying processing fees and they can get another 18,900 off their fees, only 1,500 a month, they're now doubled their profit. But in this example here, sorry, I went off script there. 2,000 profit is what they're paying, but keep in mind they're paying 2,500 in processing fees. So if they didn't have to pay that, they'd go from 2 grand in profit to 4,500. That's 125% profit boost, or they'd be making 2.25 times as much money every single year by going to dual pricing. So you can make a real impact to real people. Here's a real story of one of our customers, 250,000 a month. They have a couple pizza locations. They're paying 6,400 a month in processing, which is about 2.25%. They've moved to our dual pricing. Now they have zero expense. They now get that 6,400 a month. That's $76,800 added to their profit. They were making 30 grand a year prior. They went from 30 to over 100, 3 times the profit. And their quote to us was, "We get zero complaints. Can I earn with you guys?" Was the second quote. Yes, you can. And now they do. Fire inside. Remember your mission. You're not just selling, you're empowering business owners, but you do have to educate. You do have to have boldness. You have to have willingness, and you're changing your own life too. So here's a simple goal for you this week. The basics. Remember, basics. Just have 3 conversations minimum this week with current owners or new clients, right? Lead with the funding, fall back to the processing. That's what we always recommend. Lead with our funding. You don't have any competition in that. Fall back to the processing. Of course, if the time's right and the situation dictates, of course, you can lead with processing sometimes. 1 quote request submitted. Set a goal to get a quote request this week. Record 1 pitch. Record one of your dialogues. Send it to your partner. Send it to your up team enroller to get some feedback. But if you sit here and role play and then say, "Give me feedback, how I do," it'll tell you how it thought you did. So, I mean, it's amazing. You got a sales manager right here. It's not as good as a real experienced sales manager, but it's a lot better than not having one, right? Let's build momentum starting today. So you have the tools, you have the team, you have the fire. Let's help a business win today, and you win too. All right, that's today's pro tips. Now it's time for some questions if you have any. Isn't this awesome? Isn't that chat GBT awesome? To role play with it? Or that was Grok. You can use Grok or chat. Anyone got any questions about anything or any comments? And do you see how you could all take this video and you could do a little video? Hey, everybody, I just wanted to educate you. I want to give you an example of how you can double your profits just by using dual pricing. Let's say, for example, your profit is 3% of sales and you're paying 2.5% in fees. Well, you go from 3%. Well, if it's 3%, you wouldn't double, but you'd grow by 75%, right? So you could create educational videos with some of this stuff. Take this stuff and become an educator. Educators get one-to-many exposure. See, a lead is a lead. An engaged lead is someone who's got interest. How do you get a lead to become an engaged lead? You reach out to them, you text them, you email them, you phone call them, or you do an educational one-to-many piece, and that one-to-many gets touched by a lot of people. Those become engaged leads reaching out to you. I got 2 funding requests in the last 24 hours of people I don't know on Facebook who saw my stuff. Right? Education, they're not, neither one of them fit, but they're engaged leads. Right now I can go to payment processing with them. They're an engaged lead that I got, that I attracted with education. Take some education. I saw Nick DeHane put a video up yesterday about how much you could qualify with alternative capital. That'll start getting play. That'll start getting play. And he'll look at that in a week and it'll say 400 views or 4,000 views. 400 people saw it. That's 400, one-to-many. Or don't do the videos. Or don't mention our funding platform. Or don't mention our best offer. Don't mention our dual pricing. Don't mention it and have 0 views. Or do it perfectly imperfect and watch how many views you get. Just say it with honesty. Role play it on here if you have to. Go type it up on your screen and say it to the screen and videotape. Put the phone on a tripod behind the screen and read the screen. Whatever you got to do to say the message, but practice, practice, practice. You can role play right there. Role play with your team leader, and let's roll. McGuire Tate's got his hand up. McGuire, you got a comment for us or a question?
I do. I just wanted to jump in and say, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. I don't see video,
Cool.
but I can hear you.
didn't see my mic moving. I'm just getting over a cold, so I'm in my hoodie and glasses today. So I'm looking looking a little
You're in
beat
your
today.
you're in your home-based business attire, right?
They don't know that, but you would if I turned my screen on. So 100%. But
That's
I
all
just
right.
wanted to say today was great. Very short and sweet and powerful. Um, I just wanted to jump in with a little note. Being the educator is always going to trump the predatory sales reps that are out there. I had a conversation last week with a business owner that does, but their business does waste bin cleaning. They clean the trash bins. They also do whatever, they pick up the trash bins, but they added the service in. It's a fully e-commerce service. So it's subscription based. People just pay a monthly subscription fee for it. And we were talking about dual pricing, and he said, yeah, I don't think that this fits for e-commerce online. And being the educator that I wanted to be in that situation, I told him that that's something that is available to him. I'm not sure if he had, someone in the past that told him that wouldn't be the case, but we can do that for e-commerce. It's set up a little different, and obviously, the more we learn in our trainings, you can see how that works. But just being that educator, it immediately built trust with him, and he was very open and honest. Said, "Hey, I'm just switched over a month or two ago to a different processor, but." And I said, "Well, how close are you with them? I mean, have you heard from them since you got set up?" And he's like, "No, no." And I said, "Well, I can guarantee you two things. One, with us, we're one phone call away, and we'll always be reaching out to you. So this isn't just a transaction. You have a relationship built here." And secondly, we're always going to make sure that you're getting the best deal on this, and even if that means you earning on it, I guarantee you that's not something that these other companies are talking to you about and caring enough about. So just being that educator, he literally just within the last few months switched over to a new processor, and he basically ended the call with, "Well, for the sake of all the work we did, I'm probably going to see this through for maybe another month or so, but don't think for a second I don't have you guys in the back of my mind. And the second that um, I feel that feeling that you just described to me, you guys will be the first call I give." So, it wasn't a yes on the spot, but being an educator of something just like that creates trust right out of the gate. And it separates us from a lot of the other predatory sales reps out there that just want to sign them up and get
You
on to the
know,
next.
it's a great point, McGuire. And one of the things we talked about leads and engaged leads, that person is not a customer, but they're an engaged lead now. There's someone you're communicating with who respects you for what you educated them on. They're a great conversation for funding. They're great on slide 7 or whatever that was, where we talked about reach out to your current clients about funding or reach out to your current funding clients about processing, right? That's an engaged lead, right? So the great news with this is you have an opportunity there. Michael, Mr. Randolph, nice to see you, buddy. Sales trainer extraordinaire, super leader. Glad to have you on the Zoom today. Um, the thing about from lead to engaged lead is now you have an opportunity to take them to the next step, and it doesn't have to be today. I was at a seminar a couple months ago, and the price of entry was 5 grand. And there was about 80 people there, and your company had to be doing a certain sales amount. So there was I wouldn't call it a level of sophistication, but you had to be doing so many millions in sales, or you couldn't go to this event. And then you had to pay 5 grand for it. And the person asked, "How many of you have been following me in my trainings for less than a month?" Not one hand went up. "How many for 3 months?" Not one hand went up. "How many have been watching what I do for under a year?" And maybe half the room. "How many over a year? How many over 2 years?" And about a third of the people had been watching this person's education over 2 years. About another third were 1 to 2 years, and about a last third was under a year. And he said, "How many of this is your first event?" Well, it was everyone's first event. And what it showed is there's like a bell curve of the people in the middle. They've been following you a while. They don't just say yes. I mean, we're not like uh, a client saying yes immediately unless they're desperately needing funding. They're not going to jump on the first conversation. You may turn them on to alternative capital, and they may go online and look up someone else because they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't like you. just like you do sometimes, right? You may look at a car with someone, say, man, I'm going to buy an Escalade, but not through that dude or not through that girl because I can tell they're just trying to gut me right now for a car, but I love the Escalade. So who you are will help them determine whether they like you enough to use you. It's the relationship, not just the product. In fact, the product comes second. So we've got a compelling offer. We've got a grand slam product with our payment processing, dual pricing, and our funding platform. You can't compete with those products. You can't beat our dual pricing. You can match it, but you can't beat it. You can't beat our funding. We'll give you $500 if you do. So we've got the best two things right there. But what we don't have is relationship with everyone yet. And that's where you help go from lead to engage lead. That's where the education helps. That's why you're bringing a service. You're bringing value that isn't just savings today, money tomorrow for you or profit for them. You're bringing that. But if you can bring more in your presentation, in how you care, Morgan Raymond, good job, Morgan. Morgan put a post up yesterday in the Facebook group saying, I encourage you all to celebrate a local business in your town. Just go to your Facebook group and review a business. Say, hey, by the way, has anyone seen blah, blah, blah? And mention the business, tag their page, give some love, just show some love to the community. There's a chiropractor in our town who he told me flat out 6 years ago, if I ever need funding, there's one person I'll get it from, and it's you. It doesn't matter. I'm forever indebted to you because when he was a new business, I reviewed his chiropractic place 3 or 4 times. I mean, it's all I did was say, this guy's great. He came up and he helped. He discussed it. He answered all my questions. He came in with a $25 or $5 actually Starbucks card and said, thanks. It was very kind. You didn't have to do that. And then he asked me about my business. And I didn't do it to get him to ask about my business. I really appreciated what he was doing for our town. And so don't just put a post up to do it. But Morgan brought to light how important it is that you do more than just pitch. Don't be just a pitcher, right? Be someone who really cares about business owners, make a difference. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any other questions. Does someone asked, do you have third-party financing for payment processing? Yeah, they're probably talking about some payment processors offer what you call merchant cash advances. Started in the mid 2000s. And what they do is they give you money and they keep a percentage of your credit card sales until it's been paid back. That's how our industry started. That's why some people call our alternative capital merchant cash advances, because it started that way. But it's improved and moved forward since then, where it's no longer tied to your credit cards. So they can't stop paying you your credit cards if your sales go down, and they can say, we're still taking our money, we're going to take it all now. The payment processing of those old days, they would stop you processing or take 100% of your processing if you had issues, if they felt at risk, and they could. So a lot of people got stung by those and they moved away. So with ours, it's a fixed payment. We don't do third-party financing through our processor. We do our own alternative funding. Now, if I'm misunderstanding your question, that you're saying, do you provide financing for the point of sale equipment? We're David Allen Capital. And well, you can get money for anything you need. If you want to upgrade to dual pricing and there's a $3,000 cost to the equipment and you're going to save 10 grand a month, but you're concerned about the 3 grand, let's get you an offer. Let's get you a funding. Let's get it taken care of. So, yeah, even our POS systems, many times, if they're a big company with big things, there's things we can plow the product into the pricing of the service. So don't worry about the cost of the POS systems. Usually, they're buying one little reader and it costs them, $180 or something like that. It's not even a problem. Or they use the current reader they have and just transfer the what they call the merchant ID number over. All right. Junior Cahola, thank you. Appreciate it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Some of you are commenting about the role playing. You didn't know you could do that. Isn't that amazing? AJ, yes, yes, thank you. All right, well, that looks it, folks. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the agent update tomorrow. And hey,
We do have a
don't
couple
forget
hands
tonight.
up, David, just so you know.
What's that?
I said we do have a couple hands up.
Well, thank you. I was scrolling over to see who was here. Oh, I see Wade and Sonny. Okay, go ahead, Wade. Sorry about that. Thanks, McGuire.
Hey man, I'm just going to do three quick real life experiences that I've had in the last very short period of time in the warm market. As you know, I set up a national pizza chain, on the dual pricing, but it took me 9 months to get to know this guy. And just last week at a little outing that our community had, he was bringing people to me that had businesses, and he said, "You need to talk to this guy. He's saving me thousands. He could probably save you 10,000." And I thought that was pretty special. Also, had another warm market experience with a guy that we were trying to get dual pricing through Wendy's, and he owns 30 some restaurants, and Wendy's shot it down. They didn't understand it. They didn't want to do it. However, he's got Captain D's, and what I did was I offered him to become a broker, an agent, and so he can make a commission. So he is actively seeking that with Captain D's on an national basis. And then finally, I talked to you about my Snap-on tool guy who is from David Banks, is one of my personal brokers. The guy's so fired up about the funding side. But then we started talking and said, when you call a garage or whoever you speak to, talk to them about this dual pricing. And since you don't feel comfortable, call me. The point is, warm market is if you can just understand, more people than you think you know, and a lot of successful people out there don't know about the dual pricing, but they don't know about the funding either. So I had 3 experiences in the last week that have all reconfirmed to me I need to be talking to my warm market that I think I don't need to be talking to because I've already done something with them. Those are the ones who I need to talk with more because of the fact they know a lot of people. My success and their success should be showcased to all of their client list. So that's all I have.
Great. And that's all you have. That's great nuggets right there, Wade. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. And glad to hear the client is moving forward, becoming an agent. And that's the great thing about this, guys. And we're going to go to Sonny. If you want to unmute yourself, Sonny, you can chat with us. I do have one more story for you at the very end about a client who we currently have doing over 300,000 a month. I want to tell you about in a minute. Sonny, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, good morning. I always love these meetings. I've been away for a while. I had a family tragedy. Very close friend had an epileptic seizure on the highway late at night, ended up unconscious on the railroad tracks. And so she's got stuck with a $2,000 towing bill and fractured tooth and faced medical expenses. Couldn't pay her rent. So I ran a GoFundMe for her, and now she just paid her rent yesterday. This happened.
Well, good job, buddy. Sorry about your friend, first of all, and way to step up and help take care of her. That's awesome.
Yeah, now I'm in love with her. What could you do? Yeah, I'm going to meet with her next week. So I was out in Albuquerque in 2021, door to door with cash discounting, and I did that like for a month and a half, 2 months, and a very high 110-degree temperature. But I didn't get a great reception to cash discounting. Then shortly after that, dual pricing came on. Can you give me the pricing, market share evolution since 21, how those two have progressed and where they are as far as their effect on the industry?
Yeah, sure. I would say this, first of all, again, sorry about your friend and glad you're there for her. And, just pray that she, has some protection from that in the future, with
her name's Asha Fox. If you can pray for her, I appreciate it. Asha Fox.
Thank you. Will, for sure. So couple of things to think of. And Tom, I see you're on here. I know I owe you a call, buddy. The couple things. Number one, dual pricing is an evolution from cash discounting because of compliance and regulation more than anything. And they work the same way, but dual pricing states that you must show, just like cash discounting does now, actually, you must show the card price on your displays. The evolution came from, it first started with surcharging, where you could add a fee. And then Tom, who's on here, called me in 2016 and told me about this new thing called cash discounting. And I remember going, dude, no one's going to want to pass the fee on to their customer. So the evolution goes from you can pass a fee on to your customer and they max it out at 4%, and you just charge it like a surcharge on your bill. You're using a credit card, there's a fee. Well, that you told me I'm paying $10, but my bill says 1040. What's up with that surcharge? And you didn't tell me that. So compliance came in to say you had certain signs you had to display. You couldn't surcharge a debit card. Certain states outlawed surcharging. So then cash discounting came out that said, hey, we'll give you a discount if you use cash. So the price you see is credit card. But there wasn't compliance rules in different states. Different processors were using different ways of showing that, whether it was a line item or non-line item. So all that's happened is over time, Visa, MasterCard have gotten real strict on how you can do this. And dual pricing is the latest evolution. And all it states is show both prices or show the card price. And at checkout, a lot of equipment now will show you both. So how are you choosing to pay? And it'll show, credit card price, $13.33, cash price, $13.01. Choose your option. So when you check out, you can see both. So now you're choosing. It's a lot easier, but you have to display either the card price or both prices on your menu items, on your wall board, your pizza board behind you, your online site, wherever. You have to show both. So I'm not surprised you didn't get good reception, because cold market payment processing is not easy, because there's already, I think the only industry that's close is real estate. There's one real estate agent for every 1.5 homes that needs to sell. Well, there's probably 400 payment processing agents in my town alone. And there's only maybe 400 businesses. So they're being hit daily, and we become they don't want to hear from us. So we teach, of course, Canvas as a customer. So when you're in there eating at the restaurant, then mention it to them. When you're checking out, mention it. Oh, I see you're not charging dual pricing. Have you ever thought about that? That's businessmen. You're a customer. Canvas while you're a customer, or warm market. Those are what we recommend. Otherwise, lead with funding, because they don't have anyone coming in their doors right now leading with funding. They didn't have people knocking doors in Albuquerque in 2021 talking about business funding. They had people talking about payment processing. So if you're going to canvas a local area, canvas with funding, fall back to processing. Start with funding, lead in with funding. Front of the arrow is funding. Middle of the arrow is payment processing.
Excellent. Man, you just light me up. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you.
Well, you light me up too, buddy. Thank you. All right, I think that's all the questions and comments today. So glad you learned a lot. Day 3. Love it. All right, folks. Well, we're going to put this up on the YouTube page. Go back and check those out. Sometimes you can put it on twice speed, listen to it real fast, and get some great nuggets. And don't forget to role play. And let's light up some success in your area and for your family. Big money can be made, big impact can be followed. Thank you. Or big impact can be made, big income can follow. God bless.